loves, so welcome back. Today we're going to be doing a full face of e.l.f. dupes, and we're going to compare the e.l.f. dupes versus the original and see which one is better. So make sure you grab a snack, get cozy, or grab all your makeup and your brushes so we can do some makeup together. And let's get into it and test out some dupes. Starting off with the first dupe, and by the way, I'm going to do all the high-end makeup on my right side, which is going to be your left, and then all the e.l.f. dupes are going to go on the left side, which is your right. So let's start off with the first dupe. I have the Supergoop Glow Screen SPF 40. Love this product. It's so glowy, it's so pretty, it's nice on its own, but it's also really nice under makeup. I feel like with this, either you like it or you don't, because I have heard people say that this does break them out, but I'm such a big fan of that glowy deliciousness that it gives to the skin, so I really like it. I haven't had any issues with it. I also really love the Sun Touchable Wow Glow from e.l.f. This is SPF 30, so it's a little bit different, and I feel like the tints on these are slightly different, but let me show you. And how cute is this little mini? They just sent me a bunch of minis and they're perfect for traveling, but I'm gonna do, and we have a lot of complexion products. I normally wouldn't put all of these on top of each other, but for the sake of testing them out, of course. So this is the Supergoop, which I, again, really love. It has a very light tint, but it gives that really pretty glow. I love the way this looks in the summertime too. I love the e.l.f. one as well. For me personally, I've tried both of these, and I think, you see the e.l.f. how it's a little bit lighter. The one from Supergoop has a little bit more of like a neutral type of color, and it comes in a couple other shades, whereas this from e.l.f. just comes in one color. So that is one of the biggest difference. But it does absorb also really nicely into the skin. Gives a glow. For me personally, I've tested both of these out and I like them both. This is the case where I feel like both the high-end and the affordable side give you a very similar effect. The SPFs are of course a little bit different, but you can still get that really gorgeous glow with the e.l.f. product as well. Let me know what you guys think. Can you tell a huge difference? Because I feel like the main difference is the tone. The one from e.l.f. is a little bit lighter than the one from Supergoop, but they both give that glowy finish that I am obsessed with. So I like these both. I think whichever one you get, you're gonna get that really pretty glow. I like the way these look though. Very pretty. P.S. There's also a matte version from e.l.f. and Supergoop as well. If you're not into the glow, there's a matte version, which personally I like this one more. Now for mascara, I'm just gonna do actually mascara on my eyes today because most of the dupes are complexion dupes. So I'm gonna curl my lashes with my handy dandy Tweezerman lash curler, and we're gonna try out two different tubing mascaras. I have the straightest lashes to ever exist, so typically most mascaras don't even hold a curl for me unless they're waterproof, but I still like to do a little curl beforehand. So for the high-end side, I have the Thrive Cosmetics Liquid Lash Extensions Mascara. This is a tubing mascara, and this is what it looks like, the wand. It is really actually good for length and separation. And then for the e.l.f. side, we have the Lash Extender, and this is what both of the wands look like side by side. Very, very similar. Not identical, but pretty close. Let's start with Thrive. I'm only going to do a coat, by the way, on each eye because, like I said, my lashes are really straight. So I find that when I add too much mascara, they just kind of droop down even more. And both of these do give good length and separation. I just recently tested out the e.l.f. mascara and I like it. But you see how good that looks? And I have tiny lashes, but this still does a nice job at actually showing up on my lashes and giving me a good amount of separation and length. Like, this is good enough for me. Now let's do e.l.f. Formulas are a little bit different. I'm noticing the one from e.l.f. has a bit more of a dry formula, whereas the one from Thrive is a bit more wet. Okay, here we have Thrive and here we have e.l.f. I truly do not really see a difference, especially with my lashes because they are so short and straight. I feel like both mascaras gave me a good amount of length and separation. The Thrive one does have a little bit more of a wet consistency versus the one from e.l.f., which is a bit more dry, but I think they both pretty much did the same exact thing. Maybe the one from Thrive gave me a little bit more length. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let's move into primer. I'm going to start off with the Tatcha Liquid Silk Canvas Primer. I've actually never tried this before in comparison with the e.l.f. Liquid Poreless Putty Primer. So let's see. I'm going to just put this all over my face. Definitely used way too much. What else is new? This feels very silky smooth. I do like how that just blended into the skin. The only other product that I have to compare this to that's high-end in my collection is the Vanish Airbrush Primer from Hourglass. First impressions, I think this is a little bit more smoothing, the one from Hourglass. So I mean, I do like the consistency of the one from Tatcha, but I think I like this one from Hourglass more if you're looking for that kind of silky smoothing primer. But that did blend really nicely into the skin. So let's see how it compares to the liquid poreless putty. Like I said, similar to the one from Tatcha, the one from e.l.f. is very hydrating. So if you didn't like the putty primer, then I think you would like the liquid version. Let's see which side looks more smooth. I'm gonna do the same thing and just put this all over my face. I'm gonna let that absorb. I always like to let my primer sit for about like a minute or so before moving into the next step, just so it has some time to fully absorb. Okay, both primers have fully absorbed into the skin. I honestly don't see a huge difference, but I do think that the Tatcha side looks a little bit smoother. Do you guys see? The side from e.l.f. is just a bit more glowy still. The Tatcha primer has a little bit of a thicker consistency, whereas the e.l.f. poreless putty is a little bit more runny. So maybe that might be it. But like when you really look at my skin, you cannot see a huge difference. But I do feel like the one from Tatcha is a little bit more smoothing. But I think the e.l.f. one is a nice alternative, not an exact dupe, but it gives a similar effect. The liquid canvas actually feels really nice. I'll continue using this, but the Vanish one is top tier. It's so good. Definitely worth the splurge. But that was a nice little dupe. Yeah, I feel like this side looks just also a little bit less shiny than the one from e.l.f. Milk Hydro Grip Primer versus the e.l.f. Power Grip Primer. I love both of these, but let's see how these look side by side. I'm pretty sure I tested these out before, but we're gonna test them out again because I have not used the Milk one in a while. I love how hydrating this applies. Feels very just like skincare. Okay, I'm gonna let that sit so that it gets nice and tacky. Also feels very silky over top of that Tatcha primer. That feels good. It also feels a little bit cooling on this side too, which is interesting. Let's go in with e.l.f. Power Grip. I love the e.l.f. Power Grip. I love the one with niacinamide as well. So first impressions, you can kind of see the sunscreen underneath as I'm blending in the Power Grip. The sunscreen is kind of moving with it and like the other products underneath, whereas the Milk side you can see it was a little bit more seamless blending that in, but the texture does feel pretty much identical to the one from Milk. It also feels a little bit cooling actually now that I'm applying it. I feel like with the e.l.f. one you have to just work with it a little bit more, whereas the one from Milk is just a little bit more fast absorbing and it just blends quicker into the skin. However, they're both going to give you that tacky finish, which is exactly what we want. I love the e.l.f. Power Grip. For me personally, I think this is the case where both the drugstore and the high-end version are really good. I've tried the Milk makeup primer before. I really like it. I like how hydrating it is, but I feel like you can get that same effect from the e.l.f. one. So for me, this is the case where I would say you could save your money and just go with the dupe. If you're layering this over other products though, you might have to, like I said, just take a little bit more time to blend it in, but you can still get that good result at the end. That's the only thing, but they're both gonna be nice and tacky. So far so good. I'm actually really liking this. This is a little experiment because a lot of these products I already love individually, so it's nice to kind of compare and just see the little differences between the two. They're minor, but I still think everything looks good. All right, let's move into the very famous dupe, which I feel like started it all. Hollywood Flawless Filter from Charlotte Tilbury. I have the color medium 4 versus e.l.f. Halo Glow Liquid Filter. One of the biggest difference with this is definitely the shades. I prefer the Charlotte Tilbury shades, but this is another dupe where I do feel like you don't need the expensive version because the e.l.f. one gives you such a gorgeous effect. So let me show you the Flawless Filter. This is a great product that you can use under foundation. You could even use it in place of your foundation if you want something very natural and glowy, or you could mix it with your favorite complexion products as well. And then let me apply the e.l.f. one and we'll blend them out at the same time. So you can see right off the bat the colors are a little bit different. I'm going to use the same brush but a different brush on each side, by the way, because I have multiples. But the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter really is so flawless. I did not love this product when I first tested it out because I used it over powder, and I don't like it over powder. I like it on just my bare skin, but it really just gives the prettiest glow in a light tint. So if you're looking for natural coverage, this is going to be a nice product. And then the e.l.f. one pretty much gives the same exact effect. I love this dupe. This is one of my favorites. Here we have Charlotte Tilbury. And here we have e.l.f. I love this. I love both of them, but I honestly would not probably repurchase the Charlotte Tilbury one because I can just get that pretty much almost identical effect with the e.l.f. one. So for me, e.l.f. is the winner in this case. Let me know what you guys think between both of these. I actually did a full wear test in comparison with both of these and I love it. Like I said, it's probably my favorite dupe of all time. So this is a good one. Another really good dupe that I just tested out. I did like a little short video comparing these two, but it Cosmetics CC Plus Nude Glow. One of my favorite skin tints. It's so glowy, but with amazing coverage. I'm a very big fan of it Cosmetics CC creams and I have this one in light medium versus the e.l.f. Camo Hydrating CC Cream. This one is in light 210N. Originally, I got the color light 240W and it's way too yellow, but this is actually a much better shade. So this product I love for everyday makeup. There's skincare, there's SPF in here. And these it Cosmetics CC creams wear so beautifully throughout the day. I love this one. See how pretty that looks? It just brings the skin back to life. It's literally your skin but better. But this new it Cosmetic or e.l.f. Camo CC cream is also really good. I think I do prefer the shade from it Cosmetics on me, but the one from e.l.f. still gives a really nice amount of coverage and dew, which I really like. So I like the original it Cosmetics CC cream and compared that to the one from e.l.f. The original, it's nice. The finishes are just different. They're both matte. So these are definitely for those of you who prefer a glow, and I know it looks extra glowy because I have so many other products underneath, but it's really, really pretty. And I think both of these wear very nicely. So this is another dupe where if you want to try the it Cosmetics CC creams, try the one from e.l.f. if you don't want to splurge because it does give a very similar effect. I love both of these. Love the original, love the dupe. The shades might be a little bit different, but if you can find a good match in the e.l.f. one, I think this is a very nice dupe and another one of my favorites. So I like this one. Liquid blushes and liquid contour, and then I'm going to do concealer. Okay, for the high-end side, we have the Charlotte Tilbury Contour Wand. This one is in fair medium. Actually love this product. With these products, the only thing I don't like is just the packaging can be pretty messy, but this is a nice product. I wish it came in more shades because I think the formula blends really nicely too. I'm going to use an it Cosmetics Heavenly Luxe complexion brush. It has a good blend to it, and I like this color too. And I like this brush as well, but you know we have a dupe for the brush too, which is another one of my favorites, the Complexion Duo brush from e.l.f. It's not identical. The concealer brush from it Cosmetics is a little bit better, but the brushes are very similar. It's a nice alternative. Now on the other side, I have the Halo Glow Contour Wand. This one is in light medium. Ever since these came out, I know Milani has ones that are similar as well, but ever since I started using these, I honestly don't really feel the need anymore to splurge on the high-end one. As much as I do like the high-end one, I like the drugstore one because it literally gives you the same exact effect. And it has that very similar seamless blend. So in this case, for me, I like the dupe, and I will continue to use the dupe over the high-end product. I'll probably just use up what I have with the Charlotte Tilbury, but I wouldn't repurchase it because I love the way this looks. Now, I'm excited to try this next dupe out because I've never tried this new Camo Liquid Blush from e.l.f. This one is in the color Dusty Rose, and we're going to compare it to Rare Beauty Hope Liquid Blush. Let's start with Rare Beauty. I don't even think I've ever used this color. So pigmented, but so pretty. Now let's try e.l.f. From what I've seen with e.l.f., the darker the shade, the more pigmented it's going to be. This one doesn't look identical to the one from Rare. I feel like the one from Rare is a little bit more pigmented, so I'm going to add more just to kind of even it out on the other side. The colors that I have used from e.l.f. are some of the lightest ones, and I do feel like they can be more buildable. See, like this one? Which I don't really mind. I feel like it's a little bit easier to work with a blush that isn't as pigmented. You see that build up really nicely. I actually do maybe think this is a nice little dupe. Let me do it on the back of my hand and see how it looks. Okay, no, the undertone's a little bit different. On the bottom we have e.l.f. On the top we have Rare Beauty. But I feel like on the cheeks you can't really tell a huge difference. They both have a gorgeous blend to them. This one from Rare Beauty is a little bit more pigmented, but like I said, the one from e.l.f. you can build up, which is really nice. Both sides are still looking really good though. Honestly, you can barely even tell a difference. The differences are very minor. Now we're gonna do concealer. Tarte Shape Tape Ultra Creamy versus the Hydrating Camo from e.l.f. I think with both of these concealers, less is more. You don't need to use a ton of product because then it can just get a little too much on the under eyes. And with Tarte Shape Tape, I love the Ultra Creamy more than the original. It's definitely much less cakey and it's a little bit more hydrating. And I love the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. This is one of my favorites. Let me go ahead and set everything. I'm gonna just use my Hourglass Veil Translucent Powder for my entire face because this is a nice and neutral powder, very smooth and airbrushed, and it just looks good with any product that I use. So let me set and I'll be right back. Okay, I just set everything with powder. I also added a little bit of my Charlotte Tilbury pressed powder on both sides, and I think everything looks so good. Like, I honestly could go outside right now, go in public, and I don't think anybody would know that I'm wearing two different sets of products. I think the e.l.f. dupes are pretty on point, especially now that everything has settled. I wanted to mention, I think with both concealers, they're probably expired and I need to discard of them ASAP because I don't think that either of them look the best on my under eyes right now. So I don't know, but I wanted to show you guys some other alternatives that I love, both high-end and drugstore. If you don't love either of those concealers, the Tarte or the e.l.f. one. For instance, for a hydrating good coverage concealer that's high-end, the Tower 28 one is incredible. A little bit of this goes such a long way and it has just the most beautiful formula. And then for drugstore, if you want something also hydrating with beautiful full coverage, the NYX Bear With Me Concealer Serum is one of my all-time favorites, and definitely I think I might prefer it over the one from e.l.f. just because the formula is just like skincare and makeup mixed, and it's so gorgeous on the skin, and it's a little bit less thick than the one from e.l.f. But those are some alternatives that I do enjoy. Now for a lip dupe, apparently the new Cream Glide lip liners from e.l.f., which are $2 by the way, is a nice dupe for the Charlotte Tilbury lip liners. I love Charlotte Tilbury lip liners. These are so good, so long wearing. Now the color that I have is in Love Trap, so I'm gonna do one side of my lip with this and then the other side with the e.l.f. one, which I have the e.l.f. one in the color Mauve Side. I love this color. It is the prettiest, like deeper rose. And then on the other side, let's go in with the shade Mauve Side. Now the ones from e.l.f. are super creamy. Like, it's a creamy pigmented lip liner. It goes on like a lipstick in lip liner form. Wow, that's actually a good color dupe. It's not identical, but dang, that's a good one. I actually do feel like the ones from e.l.f. are a little bit creamier than Charlotte Tilbury. The color is slightly different. I think the one from e.l.f. is a bit darker than Charlotte Tilbury, but I'm gonna see how they wear because, again, the high-end one lasts so long without smudging or smearing, which I enjoy. But let's see how the e.l.f. one compares. And now we have some lip oil dupes. I had to try it, you guys. I had to try it. I could not take it anymore. I had to see what all the hype is about. And let me tell you, this is not like worth it at all. Let me just be honest with you. Dior Lip Glow Oil. You don't need to spend $40 on any lip product, to be honest. Nothing is worth $40. I got this and I'm like, what is everybody talking about? Like, I do not see the hype with this at all. These are actually kind of sticky. I do like the doe foot. They do have a minty feel to it, but the color that I got, by the way, is in Rosewood. It's like you put it on and it's like, okay, that's it. Nothing special at all. So you're not missing out. If you've never tried that, you're not missing out. Just get the e.l.f. one. These new lip oils are really nice. And this one I have in the color Rose Envy. You don't need to spend $40 on a lip product when this exists. And I actually like the one from e.l.f. more because it gives a little bit more pigment. Yep. I had to see what all the hype was about, and then I got it and I'm like, I mean, it's nice, but is it $40 nice? No. Now we have the setting sprays. I've also tested out these dupes and I personally love both, but this is also the case where I love the drugstore version. The Stay All Night Microfine Mist is definitely a good dupe for Urban Decay All Nighter. So let's test these out again. I do like Urban Decay setting sprays though. They are nice, but I have other high-end favorites. Like I think the one from One Size is a bit more intense. Beauty Blender has a good setting spray. Charlotte Tilbury. However, I do like the mister on the one from Urban Decay, I will say. Oops, the mister on this is like messed up. Oh no, I was just saying how it's a good one. It is, but I don't know what happened to mine. Do you see how it's like squirting out? I don't know if that landed on my face correctly. I got some of it, but something happened with this. Okay, kind of a fail, but I still got some setting spray, so we're good. Now let's go with the one from e.l.f. So along the way, there was definitely a couple differences with products, like just very minor things that you guys might have seen with the SPF and the primer. But overall, I think the end result shows that you don't need to spend a lot of money when it comes to makeup, and you can still get a beautiful makeup look. And e.l.f. definitely has some great dupes and alternatives to the original products. So if you don't want to splurge, e.l.f. has you covered, and you can definitely make it work. Even though there are a couple differences, you're paying for those differences with the high-end makeup for sure. So let's do a little recap on the dupes. Starting with the mascara, I do think this is a nice dupe. I feel like the Thrive Cosmetics one gives slightly more length. I don't know if you guys can really tell. I don't have amazing lashes to begin with, but I see just a little bit more on this side versus the one from e.l.f. But I still love this one from e.l.f. because so far from what I've been testing, there's no flaking on it, and I still like the effect that this gives my lashes. I wear falsies most of the time anyway, so I'm usually always just doing a quick coat, adding falsies, and then I apply some to my lower lashes. But in this case for me, I love the dupe. I do like the Thrive one, but I think the dupe is really nice as well. Now, as far as the complexion, I actually love the way the skin looks, by the way. I feel like there's very little to no difference between both sides. As far as the sunscreens, I love both of these products, and I think the end result is still very almost spot on. It gives you that glow, some SPF, so it's a nice product under makeup. I like both of these. The liquid putty versus the liquid canvas from Tatcha. I have to say, I think Tatcha is gonna take the trophy in this case because it's a little bit smoother on the skin, but again, the differences are so minor. I do think the e.l.f. liquid poreless putty is a nice alternative. It's not an exact identical dupe. There's a couple little differences with textures and the way that it actually sits on the skin, but in general, I mean, this is 10 bucks, so it is a nice alternative to the one from Tatcha. However, if you want a silky smooth primer, like I said, the one from Hourglass, the Vanish, this is definitely worth the splurge, and I believe it comes in a mini size if you don't want to splurge, but I actually like this one more than the Tatcha one, but I'll continue using the Tatcha one because it did feel really nice on the skin, and I do like the one from e.l.f. as well. I think this is a nice product. As far as the Power Grip primers, the Milk one did apply a little bit more seamlessly on the skin. You can see layered over all of those products. The one from e.l.f., it took a little bit extra blending, but I could still make it work, and I love the texture of this. I honestly really like the e.l.f. and the Milk one in this case. I feel like whichever one you get, you're gonna love them both, and you're gonna get that sticky texture with both products. e.l.f. versus Charlotte Tilbury. I love the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter. It looks gorgeous. I prefer, I think, the undertones of these a little bit more, but I probably wouldn't repurchase this because I love the effect that the e.l.f. one gives so much. This is another dupe that I love. It Cosmetics versus e.l.f. Again, the shades are different, but I love the coverage. I love the finish of these, and I love how the e.l.f. ones wear. I think these are beautiful CC creams. They have an original if you prefer something matte, and then the hydrating one is definitely more dewy. Very similar to the Nude Glow CC Plus. These are both amazing. As far as the concealers, I think I've just come to the point now where I have a couple other favorites that I prefer over Tarte Shape Tape. So it's not a bad formula, but I have other ones that I like more. And I also love the Hydrating Camo from e.l.f. So I'm gonna stick with this one over Tarte Shape Tape just because I have other favorites. The Halo Glow Liquid Contour is amazing. This one from Charlotte Tilbury is also really nice, but $40 for it. I mean, you can definitely get that bronzy chisel with this one or the Milani liquid contour. The liquid blushes, the colors that I've tried are a little bit lighter than the ones from Rare Beauty. So I do love the ones from Rare, but I also love the ones from e.l.f. I think it depends on the kind of look that you're going for. And the darker, brighter shades from e.l.f. are more pigmented than the lighter colors, of course. So I do find that the lighter shades, you have to build them up a little bit more to kind of match Rare Beauty, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. They're still super blendable, and I love the way they look after you set them with powder. They look so smooth on the skin. I'm loving these new blushes. And then as far as setting sprays, personally, I love the e.l.f. one. I think this is amazing. When it comes to high-end setting sprays, I have other favorites that I think are much better and just give you a stronger hold with your makeup. For me, this isn't my top pick. So if I had to choose between this and the e.l.f. one, I would definitely go with the e.l.f. one. And I love the mist on this one as well. And it's only $10. It's so good. good. Now, as far as the lip liners, I love the longevity of Charlotte Tilbury. That's why I do think these are so worth it. But I did notice when I applied both of them next to each other, the ones from e.l.f. are actually creamier than the ones from Charlotte Tilbury, which is so interesting. I'm gonna see how this lasts compared to the high-end one, but I also really do like this color side by side with the shade, what is this one again? Love Trap. This looks so good together, like very minor differences, but I'm actually really impressed at this dupe. And then the lip oil, hands down, just get the one from e.l.f. If you're looking for that sheer hydrating wash of color, e.l.f. has you covered. The shade Rose Envy is beautiful. This pairs so nicely with that lip liner, but I love the way this turned out. I'm gonna wear this within the next few hours and I will show you guys what the makeup looks like right here, but I have been testing out some of these products already individually and I love the lasting power, especially with the e.l.f. Camo CC Cream. And let me know down below which one is your favorite dupe. For me currently, I'm loving the lip product dupes. I think these are so good and I can't wait to see how they're gonna wear. So thank you guys so much for being here and hanging out with me. Don't forget to subscribe for new videos every week and I cannot wait to see you in my next one. Bye.